The terrain within Skate 3 is created with the skater in mind. The placement of terrain objects and the topography used within the map creates an environment where the player can create impressive skating lines in nearly any area. Terrain varies from grass verges to huge multi-story car parks, all built with the ability to skateboard as a main factor. The architecture within Skate 3 is varied. It ranges from elaborate buildings to abandoned quarries. Within Skate 3 there are many different objects placed around the map as default. However, if a player is not happy where the objects are placed, he or she can simply drag these objects to a different place to create a better line, much like in real life skateboarding. The player can also use a feature that is built into the game, the object dropper. This tool allows the player to drop items into the map to use when skating. Non-player characters within Skate 3 are primarily random inhabitants of the city. They act as real citizens do. Some non-player characters are skaters, which can prove interesting for the player as they can glean new lines to skate by watching the non-player characters. Non-player characters are also present to give the player missions to do.
That fool's busted.
Skate 3 allows players to customize nearly every aspect of their skater. There are hundreds of different apparel options available with a similar amount of decks to choose from. This allows the player to become more immersed within gameplay as they can relate to a virtual them more than a random preset skater. The apparel used within the game contains real skateboard brands. This heightens the game's realism. When a character bails, depending on the severity, the player will gain some scabs and bruises. If the player is wearing clothes, they will become scuffed and torn. With the aid of vibration, the player is told they have fallen off the board and will show these scabs for a while. This adds to the realism of the game, as in real world skateboarding, if you fall off the board, you'll most likely be injured. The player is shown how well they are doing within a certain line in the corner of the screen. This score goes up depending on what tricks the player carries out. The indicator stacks the tricks so the player can see what he or she has just done. Sound also aids the player, as when they achieve a higher multiplier, the indicator flashes and a sound is played. The player is given two main views to choose from when skating. Both views are third person, but each have their own unique pros and cons. The third person aspect of both views allows the player to feel in control of the skater they are playing as. It also gives them a better view of what objects there are to land tricks on. The single player aspects of the game help the player to feel immersed within gameplay. They aren't required to do any challenges, however choosing to skate around will leave the player with only a fraction of the available items to use on their skater. Multiplayer can be played in different ways. The main game type is score attack. Up to 4 people must try to get the highest score within a 1-minute time limit. There are 3 rounds in which players will be moved to different objects within the different stages. Players can also free skate online with friends, which adds a social element to the game. Difficulties are locked to the host's choice to add balance when playing online sessions. Although the missions and challenges within the game are linear and all lead to the same outcome, the player is not required to complete these goals, which gives them a feeling of freedom that encapsulates the relaxed atmosphere the game creates. The story is driven by your manager, who calls all the time to check up on you.
Hey, what's up? Reddy here. I saw that photo you shot with Burnett. It looks sick. That's the type of stuff that's gonna sell boards. You get coverage, we sell boards. And you know what? That's how the game works. Everything you do sells boards. Shoot photos, film, do a race, kill yourself on a haul of meat, even doing stuff online. Pretty simple, right? Now go hit the streets.
The game is set in a city named Port Garverton. It is diverse in its environment, so the player has plenty of different places to skate. The rewards within the game are somewhat limited in variance. Clothing and boards are the only real rewards present in Skate 3. The game's difficulty can be changed in the menu. Changing the difficulty allows players with different skill levels to enjoy the game. For example, easy difficulty allows players to jump higher and has an assist to help them land on rails for grinds. Scoring within Skate is based around the player performing tricks. The heads-up display shows the player how much score they have earned and what multiplier they have achieved. Varying scores are given depending on the difficulty of the trick and the player's multiplier. For example, if a player lands a simple ollie, they will be rewarded with a smaller amount of points than they would for a dark slide or a kickflip. There are many different types of mission within Skate 3, ranging from photo shoots for magazines to breaking as many bones as possible. This variation allows the player to choose which missions they like doing, as all missions earn them board sales and ultimately get them closer to the top of the industry. Due to Skate 3's casual nature of gameplay, it will be hard to become addicted. Although, the online leaderboards and contests make players strive to be the best skater they can, which can lead to numerous hours playing the game.